my name is Isaac Papismado, and I'm the art director of Far Cry New Dawn.
So, as first question, Far Cry New Dawn plays, I think, 17 years after the main game. What can players expect that played Far Cry 5, like in terms of changes, gameplay?
So Far Cry New Dawn takes place 17 years later after the events at Hope County, and we really wanted to deliver this new and refreshed world. We didn't want to build the end of the world, something that was dark and gritty, but we really wanted to focus on something that was beautiful, colorful, and inviting. And that's where this whole, really the visual identity of Far Cry New Dawn takes place. And we really wanted to make sure that we transformed Hope County into something completely different. We want to surprise players when they come back to Hope County. You know, everywhere they go, every different location, maybe they have some their favorite locations, they come back and they visit it and it's completely changed. That's something that we're really excited about. And also the different factions that we have in the game, they also affect how the world changed. So the Highwaymen might affect locations differently than the survivors, and as you go there are new locations as well as transformed past locations. We also have something we call expeditions, where you could actually leave Hope County and experience a whole refreshed gameplay experience outside of Hope County, whether it's the West Coast, whether it's the Louisiana and the swamps, and also we have the Navajo Bridge in the Arizona desert, something that we're really excited about. And also the gameplay changes as well. You have different animals, different thematics, and different biomes.
So what I get from playing the game, like in the last 2 hours, I think crafting is a new, bigger part of the game. Could you go into detail with that, the new crafting upgrades?
Yeah, so we really wanted to embed crafting into the core experience of Far Cry New Dawn with this makeshift mentality that we have. You know, 17 years later, nothing is being produced anymore in factories. So we really wanted to put emphasis on crafting your own weapons, really the play style that each player wants to play. And with this level abilities, different enemy types, different weapon types, it really gives the player a choice of how he wants to attack his enemies, and it adds this layer of challenge that we didn't have in a past Far Cry.
So from a player standpoint, when you played Far Cry 5, what characters could we expect to make a comeback without spoiling, or?
So I don't want to give away too much information, but there are a lot of fan favorite characters that will come back. You'll meet a lot of new characters, and we also have some characters that you will find a bit more about them, but we don't want to give away too much.
You mentioned the expeditions. Could you go into detail with that? Like, is this, how big is this a part of the game, or?
So expeditions are really important because by completing expeditions, it really gives you a lot of rare resources that you won't necessarily find in Hope County. And with those rare resources, you can craft new weapons, new vehicles, and more rare elements in the game. And with the expeditions, they're kind of like these little snatch and grab missions where you can play as a friend or with a fang for hire, gun for hire. We really wanted to focus on a really core experience that was a bit more challenging. So it's like these 5 kilometers by 5 kilometer maps where each time you replay them you really get a different experience that gets more challenging as you go.
Would you say Far Cry New Dawn is more RPG experience than Far Cry 5, or?
So we adapted a light RPG approach where players can craft weapons with different tier levels, and also in the world they will come across different enemies that have different tiers of difficultiness.
Okay. Would you say it's like a step from Far Cry 3 to or 4 to Primal, or is it even bigger than that, like in terms of content and changes in the game?
So, it's tough to say with the content because depending on how each player has a different player style. So if somebody is very story driven, he might have a different experience than somebody who really wants to explore and replay the outposts and go on expeditions. So it's really about giving the player the choice of what he wants to do in this Far Cry universe.
Okay. Could you go into detail, like what can players expect from the end game, like when they reach a certain level or the maximum, the last chapter for the vehicles, the weapons?
So with this RPG approach that we took and with the makeshift mentality, as you progress through the game, we have so much different content in there. So there's all the replayable outposts that we hope the players would actually try, because it's something that we really worked hard in giving a new experience to the player. When you replay these outposts, they get challenging and more challenging, and then you could just keep replaying them as you want. And when you do that, you'll get more rare materials, which you can then upgrade your weapons, your vehicles more, and especially prosperity. So prosperity is something that is very key to the core experience of Far Cry New Dawn, and you would need ethanol to really upgrade prosperity so you can get access to better vehicles, better weapons, more med packs, and so forth.
Maybe as final question, what would you say from your standpoint is the part of the game that people should most be excited about, like the feature or the gameplay? Or
I think for me, the most fun I've had in Far Cry New Dawn is really replaying the outposts and having that challenge of every time you replay it, it's different and more challenging, and that really brings the player in the loop of crafting really awesome weapons and really take advantage of our crafting mentality and all those new weapons that we have for them.
Okay. Thanks for your time.
Thank you so much. Far Cry New Dawn comes out February 15th on Xbox One, PlayStation 4, and Windows PC.